What's going on, y'all? Happy New Year to everybody. So hopefully these first 4 days have been great to you guys. As for me, not so much. I'm recovering from a cold. I brought in 2022 with the cold, but nonetheless, it's pretty much behind me. I just got, just a little sniffles here and there, but I'm good. So let's talk about last night. It just wasn't one of those nights. It was just one of those nights where nothing went right. So let's start off with my assigned tractor. Now, my truck has been down for the last 2.5, 3 weeks or so. They're still waiting on a particular part. So nonetheless, I've been using my other two go-to trucks that I'll use that I know nobody else uses. And now, the other two that I usually would use, those were down. So I went to my last go-to option. Now, this particular truck, I don't really like using it because it doesn't really do good on hills. It can't really climb a hill that well, but nonetheless, I took it. Now, what I didn't know is the heat went out, because usually this truck, it usually takes a while. It's cold outside, so it's gonna take a while, for the heat to come on. Now, I didn't learn that the heat didn't work at all until I got maybe 30 miles out of the terminal. Now, I didn't want to turn back. So let's rewind. I had, I was pulling a set of pups. I had a Ocala trailer and a West Atlanta. Now, when I was looking at my paperwork and looking at the trailer, I see that the hostler, they hooked it up in the wrong order. So I was a little annoyed about that, but it is what it is. They make mistakes. So I break the set down, put it in the correct order, and I head to Ocala, since Ocala would have been my first stop. So basically I had to drop that trailer and hook it empty on the back and then continue on to Georgia. So usually I always keep my key, because some of our terminals, you have to use a special key to get in and to get out. Now, Ocala, it's a very small terminal. They have maybe 20 doors, and they're not open 24/7 like my terminal. So without this key, you basically have no way in, or you'll have to pretty much wait until another driver comes in. Now, Ocala, like I said, it's not a lot of traffic that comes in and out like my terminal. Now, by the grace of God, when I got there was a team in there. I think it was a Dothan team or Dallas team. Point is, it was a team in there. So luckily, I was able to get in, thank God, because like I say, ain't no telling how long I would have been waiting for another driver to come in. So I get in there, I break the set down. I put the Ocala pup in the door, because this terminal, they're very strict on us putting, the trailer in the door. So I put it in the door, and I go and look for an empty. Now, I find an empty, I hook up to it, and for whatever reason, it wasn't building air. So I'm like, all right. So I break it down, I look for another empty. Now, at this point, there are no more single empties. All the other empties are either hooked on to a loaded set, or it's just two sets of empties. So I was like, all right. So I end up breaking a set to make a set. It takes me about 10 minutes, whatever. Now, I had dropped the dolly. I don't know why I didn't use the same dolly, but my dumb ass uses a different dolly, and I go to hook up, and the damn dolly had a cut in the airline. So I'm like, bruh. So I'm like, all right. So I go back and I get my dolly. I hook up. I go to hook up. That trailer is defective. So I'm like, all right. So I go. I found another trailer. Now, finally, this trailer is good. It's good to go. I don't know what's up with these drivers not writing up these defected dollies and trailers, but whatever. So I get out of there, and keep in mind, y'all, when I get to Ocala, it's about the high to mid 40s, so I'm freezing out there. And keep in mind, my truck has no heat. I learned, once I got 30 minutes out, that the heat wasn't working, so I'm cold outside. Truck is freezing. So I head up to Georgia, and this time I was doing a meet and turn. I was meeting a driver out of West Atlanta. So I get up there to the pilot, or Flying J, And I end up waiting there for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So I'm just sitting there freezing. This truck doesn't idle for nothing. It would not idle. So I'm pretty much just sitting there bundled up in my coach, freezing. So, you know, while I'm waiting, I said, let me just go into Flying J and get some coffee. You know, there's only one coffee that I will drink, and it's the Pilot House. So I go in, and of course, they are out of coffee. I'm just getting screwed all the way around. So I'm like, you guys don't have any more? They're like, no, all we have is, you know, the other options. So I'm like, all right. So I settle and get some Colombian coffee, which is horrible. My guy finally comes. He brought me a 53 full of hazmat. You know, I get rolling. Now, I get into the state line. And by the way, this 53 he brought me was only $27,000. And keep in mind, I drive a single axle. Now, usually with a single, you know, you're going to be good with a van unless they load you heavy in the nose. And of course, they loaded heavy in the nose. So as soon as I cross into Florida, I get pulled in. They slap me with the weight ticket. Whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. I keep rolling. Now, keep in mind, heat still isn't working. And at this point, it's about the mid to high 30s. So just was not my night. Now, I had been pulling pups for a while. You know, I hadn't pulled a van in some time. So, you know, I was kind of rusty at back of the 53. So, of course, when I get back to Tampa, you know, it's taking me a minute to get it in the door. I'm just thinking maybe it's just not my night. You know, it's just not my night. And I forgot to mention too, on the way back, accident in Gainesville. So I got delayed maybe about 35 to 40 minutes. So yeah, y'all, it was just one of those nights. Just one of those nights. But hopefully when I go into work tonight, Tuesday, it'll be better. So point of the video is, every night is not gonna be peaches and creams, guys. You're gonna have those nights where everything just goes wrong, like as you can see for me. All right, y'all, so I will catch you guys probably tomorrow.